On this one, Dad and I are doing something neither of us have ever done. We're going out west elk hunting.
Oh, a lot of these trucks could be truck stop too. The next 48 hours.
Well, about 5:30 in the morning, about to hit day 2 of driving. We drove about 12 hours yesterday and we got about 10 hours left, so we're gonna hit the road. We're almost to Wyoming, and we got Wyoming to Idaho. Should be fun.
Speaking of here is this guy.
Little bulls. One is. 2 of them might have little bulls over there. You see it, Larry?
I can't.
Are they cows? Now one's a bull.
That one over there.
One's a little bull. Yeah, a little bull there and 2 cows. No. You stay up there. In the air, upside down. About to hit your head.
Yeah.
Those get YouTube videos. Now, cut it out.
It's about 1:30. Been at camp for a while and just laying here and glassing this mountain. This is so crazy. It's bittersweet because this is unbelievable. I've never experienced anything like this, but it's tough being away from the kids and from Sid.
Huh?
What you doing?
Looking for elk. What you doing?
Same.
Are you looking for elk too? It is absolutely beautiful here though, isn't it?
Oh, it's insane. My eyes keep tricking me.
Yeah.
without my good shoeing. It's the wrong size shoe.
Well, it's day number 3, and yesterday so the first day we had 2 bulls talking, kind of converging on us, but they just didn't come up the hill to us, unfortunately. Yesterday we had a couple of bulls talking, one in the distance and then one that sounded like he was kind of coming to us and then just shut up and never saw him. So then we glassed and walked around quite a bit yesterday, and we got on the saddle right below camp, and Don let out a whistle, and a bull came running out. So we saw one. He was at 77, so it was just a little too far, but we're gonna see what today brings.
So I guess just to put a bow on this video, I apologize that we didn't get a lot of the action on camera. I wasn't smart, and I didn't charge the camera beforehand, and I didn't charge the GoPros beforehand, so pretty much everything died when we were out there. Especially the cold weather just really drains the camera batteries, so we didn't get a whole lot of footage of what happened, but just kind of a summary. We rode horses out to where we were staying, which was amazing. Neither Dad nor I are really like horsemen or anything like that, so that was a new experience. And then also, just being out in the mountains was incredible. You know, being from the Midwest, you don't see anything like that every day. So that was a really cool experience to be out and see God's creation, see all the unique things that were out there. We saw a ton of mule deer. We saw some moose. On the horse ride in, we actually saw a moose, which was pretty cool. Got to camp that first morning, kind of set everything up, and then we went out that evening. And parts earlier on, I kind of explained that we had 2 bulls kind of converging on us, so we were sort of at this, we were down in this draw, or in this little valley, doing some calling over this little open area, and one just bugled like bam right there. So we kind of pulled back up the mountain just a little bit, and kind of got back into some cover, thinking that the bull was going to come through this open kind of field area and kind of come up to us. And as we're up there calling, bam, another one to the right of us. So the one was coming up from the left through the open pasture, and then there was some woods along this river bottom, and another one lit up in the woods in this bottom area. So we had 2 working, and Don was behind us. He was doing a great job calling, and they both, we could tell they were both coming. This one on the right was actually close. Don thought it was maybe like 50 yards away. And as the bulls are working towards us, the one on the right, he just had to come up the hill maybe 10 yards and we would have gotten a shot at him. But as they were working, all of a sudden, Dad and I felt the wind hit our necks, blowing right down into this valley where both of these bulls are. And we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, oh, the wind's switching. And then we didn't hear this bull on the right. Don was like, just go down over the edge where that bull that was closest. So we kind of crested the hill and then went down into the bottom area. And, Don did a good job of calling, and we heard the bull that was closest to us raking, and he was grunting, and it was just incredible. My heart was just pounding the whole time. And again, same thing, wind hit our neck. It was blowing for the most part into our face, and then every once in a while it would just swirl and hit us in the back of the neck. And that bull, we heard some cows with him, and we heard him kind of take off down through this bottom area and back up the other side of the mountain. So we started to go after the second bull that we had, the original bull that we heard actually, that was to the left of us. So we started working through the bottom, and he was probably, I don't know, 100 yards or 90 yards, something like that. And same kind of thing, wind just started swirling, and we could hear him working off. So that was the first afternoon that we hunted, which was awesome. The second morning, we woke up and there was snow on the ground. It was incredible, the beauty of it. But it was also sort of unexpected. We weren't really expecting snow or anything like that. So we got out of the tent and saw the snow, and we kind of decided to not go out right away. We were going to let it, finish snowing and stuff. So we, hung out at camp, had breakfast. Snow finally stopped, so we went down the hill from camp. So we walked, it was probably a quarter to a half a mile down, kind of where we had that first bull working the night before, and didn't hear anything, and then all of a sudden it started to sleet. So we were like, oh gosh, this isn't ideal. So Don made a fire, and we just kind of stood by the fire and kind of hung out. And finally the sleet let up. So we start walking around the hillside, and all of a sudden one lights up in this little valley area, and we're out in the open. We're like, oh boy, I don't know what we're gonna do. So we kind of walked to this tree line, and we're calling and stuff, and we just heard the one, and he was, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away probably, and couldn't really get him to work or anything. And so we walked probably another quarter to a half mile, called again. Across the bottom we heard one light up, and it sounded like he was kind of getting closer. So we set up, and Don's back behind us, calling again, and that one just kind of hung up, and it just went quiet. We had good wind, everything like that. So we sort of pulled up the mountain, and just we were overlooking that open area, sort of where we were standing, giving a call every once in a while, but not too much. And we sat there for probably, I don't know, half hour, kind of eating and just talking and just glassing. And then all of a sudden we see a group of 3 hunters walk through the open area. So we figured, the hunters, maybe had something to do with that bull hanging up. But we saw them, and we were like, well, and we started kind of heading back up the mountain towards camp, doing some calling here and there. Didn't really hear anything. So we're walking back up to camp, and I don't know, we're maybe a quarter mile from camp, but we're straight below camp. So we start making the trek up the mountain towards camp, and Don lets out a whistle. Dad and I are standing there kind of talking, and all of a sudden we hear Don just say, "Get down!" So we get down, and we both look up, and there's a bull standing there at 77 yards. So we got down, I knocked an arrow real quick, and pretty much as soon as I knocked an arrow, the bull sort of took off up the mountain towards where we were camping, actually. So Don was like, "Come on!" So he takes off running, I take off running after him. We were trying to get in front of the bull on the bottom side of the mountain, and we ran probably, I don't know, 60 yards, 70 yards, and I just happened to look up, and the bull is just standing on top of the mountain looking down at us, and I was just in awe. I mean, this thing is so big and majestic. It was just surreal at what I was looking at. We ended up not getting a shot at him or anything like that. He took off. It was amazing seeing an animal that big get up the mountain so fast. Don said it looked like a 4x4 to him, which I was like, I'm not picky at all. Something like that is perfect. The next morning, we kind of went to where he ran and did some calling. Didn't hear anything. We went down to where we had heard the bulls the morning before. Didn't hear anything, but that morning we were glassing the mountain before we left, and we saw a herd of bulls across like the mountain range. They were way off in the distance, and so we came back to camp after not hearing anything down below camp. So we went back to camp, got on the horses, and we rode across the mountain to where Don had saw a herd of elk. So I went over there, and it was super windy, and just conditions weren't great at all. You know, the last 2 days that we were there. But we still, while we were sitting up on this mountain, I let out a big bugle, and we heard one bugle right back right away. And it was a good distance down below us. And then we sat there and we were trying to figure out, you know, a game plan. And then I kept kind of bugling at that one, and ended up hearing 2 other bulls bugle as well. So we sat there trying to figure out, you know, if we get down in there, how are we going to get one out if we do kill one? Because it was steep terrain. It was pretty gnarly and thick down in there. And we ended up just kind of letting those bulls go. Overall, it was just an incredible experience, something I would love to do every year if I could. It was just incredible. The whole experience was just amazing. I mean, there was times where it was miserable. You're cold and wet, and it's snowing, it's sleeting, it's raining, it's this and that. You know, there's always something you got to be doing. But it was incredible, an incredible experience. For anybody that hasn't done it, I would definitely recommend taking a trip out there. We were with Don. He's Dad's really good friend. He was the one that kind of invited us out and showed us the ropes and stuff like that. It wasn't a unit that he spent a lot of time in, but still having someone like that you can he was a wealth of knowledge, a great resource. Having somebody like that was just invaluable. And he's really the only reason that we got into anything. And he did some scouting out there. He got on some bulls out there ahead of time for us. I mean, it was incredible. So I just can't thank Don enough for for taking us out, for doing all the legwork for us, and showing us just an incredible time. So we saw some hunters as we were leaving. Got to talk to them and kind of share that community. That's really incredible. I can't speak highly enough of the experience as a whole. So it was super incredible. I can't wait to go back. But that's the kind of the elk trip in a nutshell for this video.